Hello, welcome. Welcome to lesson 3. Biggest congratulations, and what a gorgeous class we have today. I have been in the chat having a look at who is here and who has a doctor's note. I can see a few people that are going to pop in a little bit and then come back a little bit later. And hello, if you're watching this on the replay. Lesson 3 is always so exciting, but before we jump into it, let me know in the comments, how are you feeling so far about what you have created? If this is not your first time, then you probably have a little bit of a different reaction. Some repeat students who come back to these workshops time and time again often comment about how the kind of revision, in a way, reminder is the word I'm looking for. The reminders are great, aren't they? We all need, we just all need a little something. And I personally find that the creative side of me really needs to value putting that time aside, because I get sick of TV, and especially in the UK as the winter settles in, I call it like the long dark tea time of the soul from the Douglas Adams book, which is not about nighttime at all. But the long dark tea time of the soul sometimes sets in for me. So I think it's really nice to spend this time together. But if you are brand new, did you know you could draw? Did you know you could paint? Is it easier than you thought? Is it harder than you thought? Can you kind of see what you could paint next? Can you kind of see how it kind of could fit into your life? I did have an email yesterday. I'm not going to say your name for 2 reasons. Firstly, I can't remember, but secondly, because it's private. But I wanted to quote the end of your email, but I'll take out the personal stuff. The end of the email said that thank you to me for reminding her to put aside me time. And I thought, I think I say that all the time to you guys, but it's just really nice to be reminded how important it is for our mental health, for our creativity, just for who we are as humans. When we're looking after so many other people in our lives, and this person in particular is looking after other people, sometimes you can neglect yourself. Okay, so hopefully that has been great for you. June, I'm loving the reminders, loving having you here, June. You learn something new every lesson, Liz, that's so great. Wake up your creativity, Maggie, I love that. Una, first painting ever. Wow. I just love that so much. Dorothy, loving learning the skills. Michelle, I love learning how to create the ice effect. Yes, somebody in the comments, I don't know if it was you, but the day when I was teaching the ice, they went, oh, wow. But if you are in the unlimited membership, I'm going to also show you how to do the ice cubes, because I think that's really cool. All right, I will go through and read all these comments, I promise, but let's get started with a little bit of structure and guidance, because you can give it a go, but if you never get the right guidance, and you never get the right lessons, and you never get the right instructions, chances are you'll end up just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So let's start with a little bit of structure and guidance. Let me show you just really quickly how I started off. I found this because I want to show you some artworks today when I talk about the membership. This is one of the first paintings I made in watercolor. It's really bad quality paper. I don't know if you can kind of see it or hear it. Like, oh, it's so terrible. And I just did some cute little cats, and boy, was I proud of this. But I wanted to show you, this is what I did a year later. And I thought, there's got to be a little bit more to this watercolor lark than just putting the paint on the page. So I wanted to show this to you because this is maybe where you're starting out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was super, super proud of this. There's nothing wrong with where you start. It is building the skills that make it more fulfilling. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Nothing special about me. except for my awesome sense of humor. Okay, here we are today. Step by step, let's make this baby swan, hashtag ugly duckling, pop off the page. You should have a relatively flat painting, and some of the colors you looking and going, oh, they're a little bit light. Now, I know some of you are going to have dark colors in here as well because it's your first time, and I have been into the group and I have seen some of your paintings, and some of them are quite tiny, and it is going to be trickier for you to get the depth if you're painting smaller. And I want to say to you as well, I started painting small when I first started. I get it. I understand it. But if you can go big, if you can go up to an A4 size painting, if you can go bigger, you will progress faster. Okay? Just going to leave that out there. It's not today's teaching point. You might have noticed I've been using my number 6, this bigger brush for the whole painting. Today, for layers, we're going to go down to the number 3, which is just kind of half the size. Whatever you've been using, if you can kind of halve it, don't worry about the numbers too much. But I also have a really dinky one here. This is my number 1, which I haven't treated very kindly. So it's a little bit frazzled, and I'm probably due to update it because, you know, I have been unkind to it, but it'll still work. So I have an even smaller one just for when I'm going to come in and do a little bit of my grey as well. So they're the paintbrushes I'm looking at. As long as you have a smaller one today, you should be fine. I've also got my paints here. So today with details, I'm just going to go in and wake them up while I'm telling you. And you wake yours up as well, guys. A little bit of clean water into each of these pans. Even if you're not using the color today, you never know. We're going to be using less water today. And you might have noticed on lesson 2, it was really all about water. And today, it's all about detail. I still have this. It's nice and dry, but that's fine. I can still use it because I'm still using the same colors. All right. Now, the first thing we want to do is work around our page so that we don't end up muddying our colors. So we can start anywhere because it's all dry. Let's start over at our orange. So for that, let's go and grab something that is a darker orange color. Now, I've got the water from my brush, and I'm going to put it in that dry bit of palette. And my cat was all over the desk yesterday, so apologies if you see cat hair and you think, oh, that's terrible. Don't worry about cat hair too much because it'll come off when everything's dry. A little bit of water on my brush into the lighter yellow, or this kind of dark orange yellow. Mix it in there. Now, I said we weren't going to use a lot of water, and we didn't. We used the water from our brush, which is also what we did on lesson 2. But today, we've got a smaller brush, so less water. Magic, right? Okay. So I'm just going to put that all up into my bristles, and then I'm putting my hand a little closer to my bristles. Now watch this, and then I'll let you have a little bit of time to do it. Remember, I didn't go fully dark, and I have used some water. And I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to gently go to the outline of that orange. And then I'm going to leave a little space here. I'm not outlining the whole thing. And I'm going to come to the other side. Little tiny ant steps. If you remember, I do talk a lot about ants. I have realized in my life that I'm probably slightly obsessed. I also do watch this guy on YouTube who keeps ant farms. So that's probably more information than you need. So here, we're now going to start making this little orange slice pop. It's going to pop more than anything else because we've given it a little bit of attention. And we're not going to completely outline all of our orange slice. Now, if you don't have lessons, you won't know this, but teachers should be able to tell you that you don't want to outline everything, because some things are going to have light shining on them from different areas. And if you just outline everything, everything becomes flat again. We have to leave some things untouched. Let's go back into our colour and watch this bit. We're going to go from the middle over here, and we're going to do a long stroke in the middle and then some shorter flicks till we get to the edge. I'll show you again and then I'll let you do your whole orange. So a long stroke in the middle and some flicks till we get to the edge. It can be nice and loose, it doesn't have to be too fussy. Just mixing up some more colour, because notoriously never mix up enough colour. So we're going to take a bigger flick and then some little flicks. And now you see how this orange is starting to pop. Just take your time with it. If I end up going a little bit faster than you, just do little bits and keep up where you can and come back and watch it again. There's our awesome, awesome slice of orange. Now the slice of orange pops more than our umbrella, and it pops more than our lime. So let's do the same for the lime. Let's come in with a bit of our green, put it in our little green spot. I'm going to grab a little bit of water with that because it's a big space. I'm just waking it up. Put a little bit of sap with it as well. And you can test it. You can test out the strength of your colour on a little piece of paper. I tend to do it just from experience, but you know, you can always test before you go onto your page. And again, we're going to take the darker colour over to the point. Don't forget it's behind this bit of ice. We're going to take our little outline, make a little triangle there, but not the whole way over. We don't need it the whole way over. Same as our orange, and then a little bit under here, little ant footsteps. You can make little corrections as you go. And I'm not pressing heavy. I'm also not super accurate because I'm one of those painters that believes that if you want it to be super accurate, you should take a photo. But I like to have fun splodging the paint on. Look at this slice pop, said Kath. It looks cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks really cool. I love that. So those are the same. Look, you could do a slice of lemon. You could do a slice of grapefruit. You're awesome at slices now. So let's come into our red. And I'll move that around so you can see a little bit of red. I'm going to wake that up with a little bit of water from my brush. And again, smaller brush, smaller amount of water. And the umbrella. Let me take a sip of coffee, make sure everybody's keeping up. I'm kind of powering on today, but it's because the detail stage is kind of just jumping around a little bit as well. Go ahead and give this video a little like as well if you haven't done that already, just while we're catching up. If you're enjoying it, give it a little bit of a like. If you're watching on the replay, it just helps. Well, it helps me know because all the little love hearts pop up. So thank you to those people. And it also helps us just reach everybody else in the group. Okay, so here I'm going to take that line from the edge of my umbrella, little ant line, and then I'm going to thin it as it gets up to the doily. See that? So we've got a little bit thicker down the bottom. Now remember, is your ego at the door? Are you copying my handwriting exactly? Are you like, oh my God, Anna Marie got a little triangle there and I don't, and oh, what am I going to do? Your handwriting's different than my handwriting. Your pen line, your paintbrush line is going to be different to my paintbrush line. I'm going to take a little line up here, little triangle there where the umbrella folds. Your little triangle is going to be different to my little triangle. If you look at my artwork and think this is what it needs to look like, then you're going to get all annoyed at yourself. I have been onto YouTube and done other courses with other artists, and I have gone into it thinking, I want to make, there's one guy in particular, and I was like, oh, I want to make his beach scene. Oh my God, he had the most amazing, he's an acrylic artist, and had the most amazing waves and whatnot. And I could not, for the life of me, make the same color that he was making. And I found it really discouraging. And then I was like, just make your own color. Just be yourself. He's obviously mixing his stuff, how he mixes it. It is like cooking pizza with an Italian nonna. You're never going to cook the same pizza, even if she shows it to you 100 times. See here under the doily, a little flick here. And I know that for a fact because I used to have a little pretend nonna who, she wasn't pretend, she was real, but I used to pretend she was my nonna. And she showed me probably at least once a month how to make pizza from scratch. And I make great pizza, but it was like her pizza. All right, let that dry. So look at them popping. And now the thing that doesn't pop is our ice, and we want the ice to pop. So let's come in. Now I'm going to show you something a little bit different. Don't freak out, but we're going to go back to the number 6. We're going to go back to the big paintbrush. And this is about applying another layer. Watercolor, if you haven't worked it out yet, is all about layers. And what I want to do is I want to mix up a little bit of my sappy color from the other day. And I want to put a little bit of yellow ochre, this tan color, into it. And I want it to be light, so I'm going to add a little bit more water from my brush. Now watch this, and then I'll give you a bit of a moment to do it. I want this to be a little bit more popping. So with the full length of my brush, I'm going to actually swirl around some of that color into just the bottom bit. Somebody gave themselves a double the other day. Their margarita was filled right up. Mine's only up to here. So see how I'm kind of, I've put another layer of color on just by kind of dabbing it with the side of quite a big brush. And I can still see some of the layers from underneath. And then watch this. With a nice wet brush and a little bit more yellow ochre, I'm just going to drop that in while it's wet. I'll give you a minute to do this. I won't keep going after this. I'll have a little pause. Into my green. Drop some of the green straight in there into the wet sections. There you go. Not too much. You don't want to scrape at it. You don't want to lift it off. You don't want to kind of, it's okay if it goes a bit muddy. We just want that little bit of extra texture so that we have a differentiation between our liquid and our ice. And I never knew this when I first started watercolor. I can prove it. Look, I never knew it when I first started watercolor that you could add another layer, like that you could kind of look at this cat and go, oh, let's put another bit of layer. I kind of did this thing where I put the two colors on, but you can kind of see that I'm trying to work it out and my colors aren't really blending. There's lots of kind of things that aren't working really well just because I didn't really understand how to kind of do the layers. But then you fast forward onto a year and you kind of look and you go, there's a really light layer under here, and then there's texture, there's dry brushing, there's these gorgeous kind of happy accidents. Bob Ross calls them. If you're not sure who Bob Ross is, he's a really great instructor, painter, unfortunately passed away, but really has left an amazing legacy of tutorials, and he talks a lot about happy accidents. So with watercolor, let that all dry, and those little happy accidents are gonna look amazing. Okay, now let's go into our gray. Now if you're making up your own gray, remember it's a little bit of blue and a little bit of orange. If the blue and orange aren't working for you, green and red are good as well. I just like to go in with the blues because they're a little bit shadowier. Oh, accidentally did red then because I said red in my head. So let's just make it up with a smaller brush, therefore we'll have less water. And sometimes it's actually a little easier to do the dark grey because we can go in with the blue and go straight over to the dark brown. And that's already going to tone it down quite a lot. But if you already have a Payne's grey, then that's great. Okay. And here we go. Remember we did the N the other day? We're going to do the N again, but we're going to do it smaller. So we go under the cup, and this our cup's going, our glass. Thank you. Sorry. And along here, under your grey from the other day, we're just taking a very thin line. Now, if you have a number 1 brush, you've got my signature set or something like that, you can definitely swap over to that. And on the other side. Now we don't want to outline the whole glass, but we do want this kind of white edge to pop a little bit. So we put a little triangle here. We put a little triangle on that side. And we just leave that for a moment. We're going to work down the stem. Remember our racing stripes? We're going to go back up the racing stripe, but we're going to stop before we get to the top. And then we're going to go outside of our stem, just gently, just halfway up. Just little ant footprints. If you're worried that you're pressing too heavy, try to paint the air around the paper. So aim for the air just above the paper, and every now and then you'll accidentally hit the paper. When we come down to our handle, base, where our triangle is, we're going to do a smaller triangle. Thin out those little sections there. What we do to one side, we'll do to the other because we're keeping it symmetrical. little triangle in there. And thin out those lines of the triangle. It's really just triangles and lines. And then around here in our corners, we're going to do a bracket. So watch this, okay? We're going to do a bracket on the tip. And then we're going to do another bracket a little bit further inside. So we've got a bracket on the tip, and then on this grey bit, we're coming down and we're going to do a little bracket like that. By bracket, I try to think of shapes that we know from being humans in normal day life, like things like letters and shapes and numbers and things like that. I think it's easier than just saying curve. So we've got the end of the bracket over this side. It also makes sense to your brain if you say to somebody, and now we're going to do the curve of the bottom of a cocktail glass, well, then you freak out, don't you? But if you say, I'm just going to do the bracket, I'm just doing the end bracket here, and I'm doing another bracket in front of it. And it doesn't have to be perfect because light will reflect differently, which is really helpful. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to kind of do my smiley face down the bottom. So watch this. I'm going to take this bracket, and it's a good time to shore up the bottom of my glass in a way because it's a little bit wonky. I'm going to take my smiley face, which is just a slight smile, a slight curve, down, back up. Okay. When we're just going to do another run at these shapes before we put the final touches in on the glass. And the reason we're doing it this way is because we've let the orange dry. So what I want to show you now, looking at our finished piece, is see how it doesn't have the whiteness in the orange? Well, we're going to put that on next. Then we're going to do our polka dots. And then we're going to put our seeds in our lime with our yellow. And then we're finishing off the glass. So we kind of have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things left. But they're quite fun, quick kind of things. They're so quick, in fact, that if you blink right now, you're going to miss it. So get all your blinking done. And then watch this. We're going to mix up some lemon. If you've only got the darker orange, that's fine. Mix it with a bit of water. We don't want it to be too dark at all. We want it to be creamy. So I've got quite a light mixture here. Better to have it light and have to do it twice than have it too dark. With the whole length of my brush, I'm going to do the same thing that I did down here to the margarita mix, but I'm going to do it to my orange. I'm going to use the whole length of my brush, and I'm just taking it, scribble, scribble, over the white bit. Not super accurate, done. I told you if you blinked, you'd miss it. Let that dry. If it's too light, come back in and do it again. If it's too dark, grab your bit of cloth, dab it up, and let it dry. We're going to do a little bit different for the lime. We're going to grab our yellow ochre and we're going to give ourselves some little egg shapes. Tiny, tiny little chicken eggs. Tiny little seeds. So we're going to stick a seed here because they are the most annoying things in the world. I think the seeds are meant to be in this green bit, but honestly, we're just taking liberties with whatever we want to do because it's our painting. And another little chicken egg here. And a little chicken egg there. Now I say chicken egg instead of a seed, but you know, if you know what a seed looks like, go for it. And then I'm just taking that, the yellow ochre, and I'm colouring it in, but I'm just leaving a little white circle inside that seed, just so that it can be a little bit of a shine. And I can't make all of that white stuff orange, green, yellow yet, because that needs to dry. So let's move on to our polka dots. Blue polka dots is what I was going for, something that goes well over red. And watch this. We're going to do I'm just grabbing a little scrap piece of paper so I can show it to you. We've got this umbrella, right? Okay, and we have these little bits here. So we can do a whole polka dot in blue like that, but then we're going to pretend that one of the polka dots is caught in a fold. So we're going to do half a polka dot here, and we're going to move the other half of the polka dot up a little bit. So it's going to feel like the umbrella has some dimension to it. We can also put a little polka dot down the bottom. There's another fold here. Wherever the folds are, you can do half a polka dot and the other half of the polka dot. You can put half a polka dot hanging outside the umbrella. You can do it all the way behind this curve. Or if you're an absolute beginner and you're like, whoo, no thank you, you can just put polka dots on your umbrella. There's no judgment. You can do stripes on your umbrella. I am genuinely, I promise this with my whole heart, never coming to your house to check the state of your polka dots on your umbrella. So I'm going to put this guy here and this guy there. I don't know why, I think it's really cute. I think the little details end up looking really, they only take a second, and if you've thought it out, you know, or if you're following some awesome instructions, then it all ends up looking really amazing. I chose the blue because it would sit on the red well, which I think looks fantastic. Let's grab some of that yellow ochre from earlier and let's do something really fancy. Let's take it straight from its palette onto the page. I know, right? And here's our little matchstick. There he is. If that's been annoying anybody. Okay. Now I just need to use this small brush, go in to some of my sappy green and a little bit of my darker green, still just with what's on my paintbrush, and I'm just going to dab on my ice. Sounds weird, right? I'll show you. Not everywhere. Don't get carried away. Just a little bit from your palette straight onto your image. Just a few little dabs. See that? Scribble it around a little bit. This brush will get dry really quick because it's tiny. So don't think, oh, I've got to load it up a lot so that I don't keep having to fetch more colour. You don't have to. You don't have to load it up a lot. You have to load it up often. A few little dabs there. tabs down here. Ta-da! I love it. I am just wanting my pips to dry, and I think they're dry. I know that one's not, but I'll be careful. I'm going to go in with my number 6 using a lemony colour, making it quite creamy. I might put a tad bit of green in it actually for the lemon, for the lime, just to do the white area. I don't mind if it goes over the seed. I'm just taking that white off the page. And have you noticed now everything pops a little bit more, but it's all at the same level, except for this part of the glass here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our smallest brush, because we're doing bits of glass. Could be your number 3. This is my number 1. And you're going to get your Payne's grey or your made up grey. And you're going to go straight in and make a little bit of a rim of your glass. I'll show you how to do that. We'll start over this side because it's drier. Now I'm going to come over here and make a little turn. So I'm going up my glass, turning, and then stopping. Just like down here, I don't need to outline the whole thing, but I'm going to give myself a little turn here. So I'm kind of showing where the rim is for that glass. And that's the most frightening bit. Now I'm not going to take this line all the way across, but I am going to do a few little dashes to help the eye, the viewer's eye, see the top of that rim. And then when I get to this side, as long as that's dry, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do a little come down bit. And then I'm going to do a little come down bit here where the glass is. I can tell you're all concentrating even though I can't see you. You're all doing so well. Your paintings the other day, yesterday when I was checking everybody's paintings, absolutely gorgeous. We've got a little bit of glass left to do, but before we do that, because it has to be the last thing we do because it's the thing we put on the front, let's come into our orange and let's go straight into our palette with a small brush, so it's going to be quite thick. We've just used the water on the brush to massage that up. And then we're just going to do the tiniest little outline around that orange a little bit. A few little strokes here in the middle. It's just going to make that pop a little bit more. See, we're just giving it a little bit more oomph. Let's do the same for the green. Let's come take it straight from the green. I'm going to mix a little bit of sap with mine. Straight from the green. And let's just make that pop just a little bit more with a darker outline. Watercolour is all about layers. And I'm kind of teaching you how to do kind of a 3-layer painting, even though I know we've done a few more. Because you're new and because that's all you need to get started. But when you become a little bit more experienced, you'll start using more and more layers and you'll have 5 layers or 6 layers. Or sometimes my students will say to me, how do I make this more realistic? And I'll be like, how many layers have you used? And they'll be like, 5. And I'll be like, you need about 30, 30 more layers. I just got a little bit of medium brown around the side of these seeds. You don't need to fuss with them too much. Just a little bracket around one side. You don't need to go all the way around all of them. And then when we're sure everything is popping, this is the last step. I'm going to take a pause. Awesome, I can see the details make everything pop, Liz. Yes, exactly. Polka dot police. I'm wearing polka dots today as well. How long will the 3 lessons be available to view? Again, we will leave them up until Thursday. So, and then they go into the unlimited membership. So if you are a member and you didn't get all of these done, they'll be in your membership. I think they're already there because Kath's put them in there for you. Nope, she hasn't. She will do though. Okay, are you ready? Just yes in the comments, because this is our last bit of detail to make our margarita painting pop. Honestly, I hope you took a photo of this before you started today, because you might be looking at this and going, oh, it looks the same as it did this morning or whatever, because that's the way your brain works. It ends up seeing things that way. So hopefully you have been able to see the difference. You guys are ready? Just checking. Okay, back to my number 6. This margarita color needs to be dry. Go into your gray with a bit of water, and you want to make a light gray. You don't want a medium gray. You don't want this color. You want a light color, a nice light color, not an invisible color. Let me check. That's nice, a light gray. Put it on your practice piece first to check the color, and then watch this, and then I'll let you have a little go. And then I'll tell you about the membership as well. So, because I know I've had emails, and I try not to get everything confused. So when we're doing, we want to invite you guys into our Art Skill Academy membership, but I want you to finish your painting first so that you can concentrate on how good it feels to paint and how lovely it is, and give yourself a little bit of time, and then I'll talk about it later. So watch this. We're going to take a round curve. Here's the flat of my brush. I'm taking it up to the rim, and I'm going to follow this curve. Watch this. A little bit darker. And then paintbrush up. Don't go into it again. Now I've got a curved glass. Let's do a smaller curve next to it. Don't worry about those little dots. That's just because of water and paint ratio. You don't need to worry about it as a beginner. If it really upsets you, you can dab them off, but I'm fine with it. It's a smaller curve because the type of curve of the glass we have. Now we're going to do the same over this side, but when we put our brush down, we're going to curve this way instead. So we put the brush down. It doesn't need to be dark. It is genuinely, when you saw this, you probably didn't even notice that it had curves in it. You probably didn't even look at it and think, oh, good thing she curved that glass. We don't want it to be too noticeable. We just want to put it there at the end. And now we have our little bits of curved glass. The other thing I'm going to do, just down the bottom at the stem, is not a curved line. I'm going to do the line up to the stem. So watch this, a little bit on an angle, going diagonally. And as it got closer to the stem, I lifted off so it's a little bit triangular. Now that takes a bit of skill, and there's a few things involved in it. It's like good calligraphy, okay guys? It'll be the pressure, the quality of your brush, and the quality of your paper. Some of you are working really small today. It won't work. You're probably best off not doing it. But you know what? Give it a go. What does it matter? It's your painting. It's your masterpiece. They are your skills that you're building. Imagine this is your first lesson on learning how to do a 3-point turn. And you go, I did a 3-point turn, but I didn't do it right. And I hit the gutter with the back of the car, and then a car was coming, and I'm never going to drive again. No. You look and go, this is the first time I tried to paint glass. It was ambitious of me as well, with a bunch of beginners teaching you how to paint glass. But that is it. That is our gorgeous It's 5 o'clock somewhere painting. I hope you love it. I hope it makes you smile. I would love to know, who in your family or circle of friends are you going to paint a card for that has a margarita on it with the caption, It's 5 o'clock somewhere? I have a best friend, Karen. I probably would paint it for her and send it to her as a card, maybe a birthday card or something like that. I think she would love it. I'd probably paint 2 of them on a page if I turned my page over landscape, because then there'd be one for her and one for me as well. So I would love to know who in your family you would send that to. You can write in the comments as well if you think it would be for your sister or your brother or your best friend or whoever it is, because the wonderful thing about painting is that not only does it bring you joy because you get to do it, but then if you can gift it or kind of have it somewhere that you can see it, then it brings joy to whoever comes to your house to have a look at it, and also I know my hands are all over the camera, also joy to whoever ends up having this gorgeous gift. Take a photo of it, make sure I can see it. I want to, my bestie, oh, your bestie's so lucky, I love that. And some of you are going to be like, I don't want to give it to anybody because it's too precious. And I say to you, paint another one. Paint some more. Send it to me and Kath. That's so sweet. I would stick it up on my wall proudly, Gillian. That's really sweet. My mother-in-law, my bestie will get that card. Oh, I love that. I had an email the other day before we had started the workshop, and it was from a lady, and she said, thanks for the invite. I would rather paint landscapes. And the thing with these workshops, and I get this all the time when I run the workshops, is people think because we have just painted a illustration of a cocktail, that is all we do, is illustrations of cocktails. I think that's overly simplistic, but sometimes people get confused. So I would love to know from you, especially if you're a first timer, what would you love to paint? What do you want to paint next? If you could follow step by step some of the instructions, what would you paint? Would you paint, I've had people in the past come up with really great things, like really specific things, but basically a beautiful view, like maybe there's a really special view that you've shared with somebody that you love and you're like, oh, I could put that up on the wall. Maybe a portrait, so like grandkids, I get that all the time, or children, I get that all the time as well. Pets is a big one. We do a lot of lessons on pets because they are so precious to us. Abstract, ooh, here's the thing. You may have only just met me and you don't know, but I actually started life as an abstract artist. So I love abstract, and you would think that watercolor is quite precise and possibly doesn't meld well with abstract, but it does, and I teach that as well because I'm very passionate about it. Actually, this year we should probably do another abstract month. I should write myself a note. Maybe you've enjoyed these workshops. I've got some other workshops that are just really beginner friendly like these. This is one that we did, which is a hanging basket, which is so pretty. Actually, that's gorgeous. And then we did this other one. I think we did this one this year. Which is a cute little cottage. I absolutely adored that one as well. Maybe you're looking for something like that. Robins, yes, robins, especially around Christmas time. My 20-year-old granddaughter, perfect. My cat, the sea. Oh, an owl. I don't think I've done an owl lately. That's a good one.
There's not an owl in the membership, I don't think.
Oh, I must write a note for that when we do some birds. Both my nieces, my mother-in-law. Now, you might be a little bit like me as well, where you might be what I call a creative dabbler. And I say that with the utmost compliment because I am also a creative dabbler. So let me just quickly show you. Inside the unlimited membership, we have over 200 lessons, but the thing that makes it special as an online membership is that you get a new lesson every week. So you've got 200 to go in and have a look at. You get the outline for each lesson, which you can print out, and then you've got this gorgeous little printout that you can ink or color in, and then you have a step-by-step lesson. So here's some of the animals that I looked at that maybe you didn't think of. This is actually a beetle. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Like that, all little bits of detail here. Now that's if you're a fan of detail. And here's an abstract idea that maybe you haven't thought of before either, of a kind of surrealist approach to painting a gorgeous seahorse. We do fun things in the membership as well. This was for Easter, so we did a fun painting. This one was actually painted live, so once a month I paint live with my members. This is just so gorgeous. I found this today. I was looking through, I've literally got hundreds and hundreds of paintings, and I can't go through all of them, but I thought, how captivating is he? Kath finds this one really disconcerting. She always tells me not to show people this one because it's so in your face, but I think his eyes are just so pretty. Portraits, we've got an extensive collection of portraits. This is an ink and wash portrait. You'll learn how to apply the skin tone. I'll teach you how to get the image on the page. You can learn how to capture their little personalities and things like that. This one is a big focus on teeth. I don't know if you've ever tried to do portraits yourself, but teeth and hair, that's the thing, you know, that is really, really tricky sometimes, but we make it easy for you. So as long as you're prepared to practice, remember, practice makes progress. Not practice makes perfect. So as long as you're willing to practice, there's so many steps to help you there. Maybe you're more of a place person. Let me know in the comments if any of these, if you're in love with any of these as well. I would love to know which ones are really calling to you. This gorgeous little expressive house, cottage, mill house, something like that. Super fun to do. But maybe landmarks, maybe somewhere you've been, somewhere you want to go. I think if you can set a little bit of time aside for yourself, then in that time, if you've got something fun and easy to follow along with, maybe you're not sure how to set up the page. So here, this is a lesson all about making the hydrangea flower. And you can actually just do a section of the painting. You don't always have to do the whole painting. It doesn't have to take you, I know some people did this one and it took them several hours, but you can chunk it up into little 10 minutes where you just do little sections at a time. But even showing you how to apply the background and you know, how just to kind of have something that you're going to be super proud of. This is just from the landscape section. You can search all of these paintings inside the membership. If you typed in landscape, then it would give you a heap of these paintings as well. Seascapes, we've got a whole unit on the ocean because the ocean is so captivating. We have a whole unit on the ocean, different paintings like that. And then this is some of our nature things. I've got hundreds of them, and Kath said, oh, you must show the cherry blossoms, because the cherry blossoms are really, really pretty. But they're really pretty as well. And then there's a whole section on greenery, because flowers are one thing, but how do you do the greenery as well, and things like that. That's just a little sneak peek. It's not everything, honestly. If you look behind me, you'll see there's like wads and wads of paper, and I meant to file away all the lessons into color-coded folders, and I have done that, but then all the other lessons are over on the side and in the cupboard, because I also am really bad at filing and I need to work out a better system. But I would love to know, what do you want to paint next? Where is your kind of passion? I started off thinking that I wanted to paint just my pets, and I've done a lot of pet commissions over the years, and lots of people have asked me to paint their house. I did a lot of boats because I used to live on a narrowboat, so I had a lot. I think a day wouldn't go by where I didn't have to paint a boat. So I've done a lot of those as well. And now for me personally, I like to dip in and out of every single subject matter, because I've realized that I have the kind of personality that gets super obsessed about one thing and then gets super obsessed about another thing. So I kind of jump around a lot as well. But I would love to know what you want to paint next as well. So the membership let me tell you how much it costs and all the details around it. It doesn't cost £1 million. It doesn't even cost £1,000. It costs £30 to become a member. And it is just simply the best place online to learn. You've seen hopefully some of the pictures that have inspired you, but also we have a heap of extra content in there. So if you're thinking about wanting to capture your favorite place, if you're thinking about buildings, if you're thinking about portraits, whatever extra things that you're thinking about paintings, we have you covered. But we also do a deep dive once a month. So I love to buy art supplies and I want to try all the art supplies, but I'm not necessarily sure if I like them or not. So what I did was I've set up a section of deep dives, is what I call them, where we dive deeply into a type of equipment. So maybe you're thinking about watercolor pencils. So we'll do a deep dive into watercolor pencils. And this is on top of everything I've just shown you as well. This is just the bonus section. Or watercolor inks, liquid watercolor it's called, masking fluid, metallics. I have some ink tints that I'm releasing this month. So we do a deep dive every month, but also we do a live lesson every month where you get to come along and paint with the whole community. And we have an exclusive group. Not this is just the workshop group. The Create group is a free group, but we have an exclusive Art Skill Academy group where Kath and I are in there kind of helping you and answering questions. And my members really help me make the lessons that you guys need, because it's not about whether or not I can, create whatever it is. It's whether or not I can teach you to be able to do it. And that's why we have so much different content. You'll see that some teachers, sometimes what they do is they teach you their style. So if they have a certain floral style, or they have a certain detail style, or a certain loose style, they'll really concentrate on teaching you this one way. Whereas what we do in the Art Skill Academy is we teach you the skill from the watercolor, and you decide if you like to use that skill in a detailed way, in a loose way, in a completely out of the box kind of way. So it's really a membership that's just designed around you. Kath will put the link in the chat for you if you want to go check out the join up page. For this week only, we've also got an extra festive bonus. So I don't know if it's like 8 weeks away or something like that. I don't know if it's too early to talk about Christmas, but for artists, it's not too early to talk about Christmas because we are all getting our Christmas cards ready and our Christmas tags and our Christmas presents. And even if you're brand new, you can get your Christmas cards painted in time for Christmas this year. Kath is doing an exclusive Art Skill Academy bonus. She's really nervous because she's not usually on camera, but she's and she's not a trained teacher, but she is an IT professional, and she's going to do an extra bonus for you guys where she's going to show you how to set out your paintings to send them to a printer to get them printed out as Christmas cards. So, and she's also going to be available to answer your questions on how to do that, because we get a lot of questions about how to use the printer, how to format the page and that kind of thing. So if you've got a big family or you've got a few friends and you just want to get a few cards printed out with your own designs on them, Kath is going to show you how to do that. But I have also got something really special for you for this week only. Let me share it with you. We have a set of festive Christmas cards. So I've been designing these super cute Christmas cards. Oh my goodness, seriously, I'm in love with that. You could get any one of these printed out. You're going to get the outline, you're going to get the demonstration on how to paint it. And honestly, I don't know if Kathy's still here, but I'm doing a koala and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm also doing a kangaroo. So what you'll get is you'll get an outline, and then you can print it out, and then you can trace it onto your card. And so you have a set of festive Christmas cards. So cute. And then Kath also taking you through how to get those printed out. But inside the membership, you also have a heap of other festive designs that you can put on your own cards. So you could send out a different card to everybody this year. So somebody in the comments said robins. I've got this cute little cat under a Christmas tree about to cause a lot of havoc. A really fun illustrative pictures, Santa. Genuinely cannot wait till December to get my gonks out. I'm obsessed. But whatever it is that you're interested in for Christmas, if you're not a big Christmas person and you just kind of want your winter snow scenes, we've got you covered with those as well. There's way more in there. This is just what I kind of picked out of my terrible filing system that is behind me that you can kind of see already because it's terrible. All right, so that is this week. If you want to have that bonus, then go ahead and click the link that Kath has sent you as well. I think it's really important that you value your time, so everything has been done for you. Value your money. I mean, it's £30 and genuinely it's not even £1 a lesson. And you can dip in and out as well. If you've got any extra questions for me, I am going to be here all week answering your art questions, answering your membership questions. Please take advantage of that as well. And we are available on email too. I know some people are a little bit more private and they enjoy a chat over email. So you're more than welcome to get in touch via email. I'm going to go onto my join up page now, make sure that all my links are working, make sure that bonus is there for you. I'm going to send you out an email to remind you with a link as well. And you're welcome to reply to that if you have any extra questions. So let me know what it is you want to paint next. What has surprised you the most? I just got to pull up one moment. And I would love to know that. I'm just pulling up my page. Sorry, it went off. But I hope you have had fun. I have definitely had a great time.
Do you want some questions?
Yeah, if you've got any questions, great. Kath can take over.
Do you teach how to sketch?
Yes. Every single week you get a new lesson, and the first week of each month, the lesson that you get is a sketching lesson. For November, for the festive month, these images are traced, but also you can kind of see the basic shapes. So there's a lot of sketching for you to go back and have a look at. I teach sketching in 3 ways. I teach it for basic shapes, so looking at the shape and looking at the object and working out what the shape is. I teach it through tracing because if you can trace something, you can see what the image is. And I teach it through formulas. So certain things like faces and animals, flowers, they have a formula that as long as you know the formula, so the formula for drawing a person, things like that, then you can go back to that formula and over time you'll memorize it. So, and yeah, we have other sketching techniques as well inside there. Yeah.
Are all the lessons step by step?
Yes.
Do you want to repeat the question because it doesn't come out?
Oh, sorry. All the lessons are step by step. The question was, are they step by step? So what happens is everything is recorded with audio. So so say one lesson that's a sketch lesson, I'll always explain to you what I'm doing. Then you have a skill lesson which takes one section of what you're painting. For instance, let me show you this. I'm way better if I can show, not tell. So for October, we did a sketch lesson on animal eyes. So we did, they look weird when you look at them together. We did a dog's eye as a sketch in pencil. Okay, then what I did was I showed my students how to add the color in. So they are 2 different lessons. There's a sketching lesson and then there's the watercolor lesson. And then I thought, why not do the cat as well, right? Because it's a different type of eye. So then I showed you how to sketch out the eye and how to color in the eye. Because you need the skill of being able to apply this watercolor in a specific way so that then you can do what I call a tutorial. So what we did in October was we sketched, then we did a skill lesson on how to apply the paint, which is recorded separately, and then we did the step-by-step tutorial. So these are meant to be smaller lessons, the sketching and the skill lesson. Sometimes I way over deliver and I just go crazy with it because I'd rather give you more than less. And then these step-by-step lessons are longer. So you can break them down into chunks and I talk you through the whole process of it, of kind of painting that. So hopefully that makes sense to you, if that's what you meant. It's kind of set up a lot like the workshop that we just did, except that it's more themed, specific. So for the whole month of October, we were looking at cats. So we did the cat's eye, and then we did the cat fur, and then we did a cheetah. But also I did a dog's eye as well, because I always feel bad for my students that have dogs. when we do dogs, I feel sorry for my students who have cats, so I try to be fair.
Is it just watercolours or do you do pastels and acrylics?
We just do watercolour. At the moment, I genuinely don't have any more time to add any extra skills in. So we don't touch on acrylics at all. But what we do with watercolor is we make it so that the paintings that you have at the end of your kind of investigation are really beautiful and you're really proud of them, but they are specific watercolor skills so that you kind of just sit down and you're just doing watercolor. I was thinking for 2025 of maybe breaking out some gouache, which is as close to acrylic as I could get at this point. But I do acrylic, in my personal, private art practice as well. You can purchase the paintbrushes by going to my shop, which is artbyannamarie.com. So you're welcome to do that. I think I've got a few left. There is a lesson on watercolor pencil. Yeah, so the deep dives, we do watercolor pencil. I've done some liquid watercolor, brusho, anything that you kind of think, anything you think as a creative person that you would want to add to your painting. So you're like, oh, I do watercolor, but what is brusho? And will I like it? And then you'll see me use it and you'll be like, yeah, I think I would use that. Or you'll see it and you'll go, oh, that's not for me. And you've saved your money, but you've also had an instruction as well on how to use it so that you're not just buying things and having them sit on your shelf, which is what mine do. But I love it. Different perfume bottles, a good idea for glass. I love that. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I haven't missed any questions. So if I have missed your question, you can retype it now. I'm just going to scan up a little bit. But
there was one other one. Are all the paintings that you showed going to be added to the membership if they're not there already?
Oh, who asked that?
Liz.
Yeah, I know why you asked that, Liz. There's some spoilers in there. I wasn't sure if you'd notice. Yes, of course. I always show you stuff. I've been working on some things for you. I think I know what you saw. The koala is just too cute. I know I had to do a koala and a kangaroo for Christmas because it blows Kath's mind that, we don't really have like the cold Christmas in Australia. All right, if you feel like, here's the thing, okay, this is my last kind of sentence, my rounding up sentence before we all go and have a nice cup of tea and some lunch. Here's the thing, if you want to learn how to drive a car, chances are you're going to go to car driving lessons. And if you want to learn to paint, chances are you're going to need a teacher to help you. I really want to be that teacher because I know that I can get you the best results with the friendliest community, the absolute best support online. I know that it's going to be value for money for you. I know that you're going to get support, you're going to be inspired, you're going to stay motivated. And I know that because that's what my students tell me. We are here to support you. So any questions you have, please do reach out and ask them. And hopefully you will post a picture of your margarita in the group. Let me know what you want to paint next. And also when you post your photo, let me know if it has surprised you, how well you have done, especially if it's your first time, because I love to read comments like that as well. And I will see you guys in your next lesson, hopefully. Bye.